3,000 years ago, the Jewish people were commanded to build a sanctuary for God called the Mishkan. At the heart of this sanctuary was a place called the Kodesh HaKadoshim, Holy of Holies, and at the heart of this Kodesh HaKadoshim sat an ark made of wood and gold, and at the heart of this ark were the luchos, the tablets that reminded people of the moment they heard God's voice. They named this ark the Aron. "70 years ago, a small school was founded in Brooklyn that was the bridge between the past and the future. The school was inspired by the Cheder of old. Its founders remembered the sacrifice for Torah in the old world before the devastation of the Holocaust, the undivided commitment, the purity of spirit. But the school also had an eye to the future. Founded under the guidance of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, the school would also become the largest institution to prepare hundreds and then thousands of Chabad shluchim around the world. The Rebbe named this school Oholei Torah."
My name is Meir Chaim Posner, and together with my wife, we run the Chabad House at Yale University. We're shluchim at Yale. We started here in 2016. My time in Oholei Torah was formative in many ways, a time of immersive learning. These were very formative times, and certain relationships with certain members of Anhala that I cherish very strongly until today, especially Rabbi Yisrael Friedman. I know that many people talk about his one-on-one learning sessions that he would have with Bachrim, and he would call Bachrim over to his table and he would learn with them. Oholei Torah was formative because Oholei Torah was a very big environment of learning. There was a critical mass of Bachrim that were kachim in learning, that were involved, that were immersed in learning, that you can walk into the Zal at any time at night and there were Bachrim learning.
In this new world, many felt a need to moderate, to modernize, to build schools that taught not only the holy subjects of the old world, but also the subjects of the new world. Oholei Torah was singular in its commitment to Chinuch al Taras HaKodesh, education of the highest purity. In this school, there would be no compromise. The study of Torah would be undivided, but at the same time, this school would not direct its students to hide from the world. Quite the opposite. This school would direct its students to change the world.
There was nothing that could compare to the life-changing impact that Limud HaTorah has on someone. Yale tends to attract very bright and inquisitive students. The typical Yale student is an intelligent, well-read, and educated student. For both Bachur in Yeshiva and for a Jew that happens to be a student at Yale, learning Torah is the strongest affirmation of their Jewish identity.
At a community dinner for Oholei Torah some 20 years after its founding, a letter was received from the Lubavitcher Rebbe. In this letter, the Rebbe spoke of the Aron. On one hand, the Aron was of a holiness so high it was inaccessible, a part of the divine service only on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, and even then, only as part of the high priest's offering. Yet, this holiest of services, this culmination of the once-in-a-year service, is not how the Torah concludes its description of the service in the Mishkan, but how it begins it. There is an important lesson here, the Rebbe explained, especially for a school like Oholei Torah. All too often, the highest level of holiness and purity is seen as a goal to aspire to, something we reach after a lifetime of work. This may be true, but uncompromising holiness is also how we must begin. Education is not only a map to a destination down the road, it's a foundation for everything that will come after. For a Torah institution to build true holiness, its foundation, its beginning, has to be nothing less than the Aron itself.
I at least attempt to actively pursue these kinds of one-on-one learning sessions with students. I think that there are many things that can affect or impact a student's affirmation of their Jewish identity and feeling proud about it.
Right.
but perhaps above all else is becoming aware, intellectually aware of what our heritage is. And by learning Torah, like, it becomes a regular practice. You become a different person as a result of that.
If we weren't having conversations about God all the time, right? What were we having conversations about? We're having conversations about what's going on campus, and conversations about what's going on in the news, and what are we going to do for Shabbat this week or that week. And when you're coming to Chabad to learn, what you're doing is connecting not just with the Yale Jewish community, not just the New Haven Jewish community, but like doing something that's like profoundly Jewish and connecting with the broader Jewish identity.
In this new world of big dreams, there are very few who dreamed as big as the Rebbe, who saw a future where his small community would become leaders of thousands of communities around the world. But for this dream to become a reality, for it to be enduring, the Rebbe knew it had to be built on the deepest and holiest of foundations. For the study of Torah to bring the world forward, it would have to reach back to that holiest of places and the holiest of moments where it all began.